Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Mary and today is a continuation of the 10 swaps for life. This specific video is going to be 10 zero waste swaps for your kitchen. I've made plenty of kitchen related content before, but these are some of my favorite swaps that are super easy to implement, that will definitely function as a great base if you're trying to transition into a zero waste lifestyle, trying to be more sustainable, lower your impact, reduce the amount of waste you're creating. Anyway, these 10 swaps, life changers. This first swap actually took me a little bit of time to sort of warm up to it, start appreciating it, but now I cannot live without it, and it is a silicone baking mat. So usually you can get sheets of baking paper. Sometimes this paper is coated, so it's not necessarily recyclable, and when it gets in touch with food, especially like oily things, it won't get recycled at all. It's not recyclable when paper product has been in contact with food. So using a reusable product instead is a really good idea. This is super handy. I have a video about silicone in general, so if you're curious about that material and how sustainable it is and what to look for when you're choosing silicone products, I recommend checking out that video. Also, reusable tea and coffee infuses / filters. So personally, I do not drink a lot of hot beverages. I sometimes, if I'm sick, I'll do like a tea, and if I'm super cozy, I'll do like hot cocoa, something like that. But I always have tea and coffee on hand in case I have guests over that prefer those beverages. And instead of having like disposable coffee filters or even pods or disposable tea bags that, by the way, often contain plastic, I have reusable infuses instead. And they last a lifetime. It's magical. I think I mentioned this once before, but every time I talk about reusable dishcloths or Swedish cloths, I don't know why they're called Swedish cloths, they have them in so many places. Anyway, the branding, the marketing, I'm not really sure where that comes from. A specific brand, I'm certain. But I've never thought about these reusable cloths as a sustainable product because they are just such a normal thing in Denmark and in most places I've been to. I think the whole disposable paper towel thing for cleaning is an American thing. I don't, maybe it isn't, maybe I'm uneducated, I don't know. Disposable paper towels for cleaning, wiping off kitchen surfaces, all that kind of stuff, I feel like sounds so inefficient when you can have a good quality cloth to just wipe your surfaces with instead. Like rinse it with water, drain it, wash it over and over again. It's just so much easier. It is so much easier. I have a nice little cabinet in my apartment where I keep all my cloths. So if you're still using paper towels, this could be your sign to try and transition into a reusable alternative. Related to cleaning, but a natural fiber sponge is also a really good idea because those disposable, or not maybe disposable, you can use them multiple times of course, but the conventional sponges are made from plastic, and whenever you use them on a surface or whenever you're scrubbing something, you're scrubbing small parts of that sponge away, and those parts become microplastic. It's not the main source of microplastic whatsoever, but it is something that we can be conscious of. It is something that we can change and improve. Instead, using natural fiber sponges that can be composted after many uses. Now, one of the main issues with our kitchens and one of the main impacts that come from our kitchens is food waste and how we handle food scraps. Getting a compost, either an outside compost or an inside bokashi compost, is a really good idea, because what otherwise will happen is that we throw food in, like with our waste, our general waste. It often, many places in the world, it ends up in landfill. And when you add organic materials to a landfill, they're not going to decompose. They're going to just lie there and emit methane, and it's bad. And it's actually kind of a win-win situation, because when you're composting, you're utilizing that unharvested energy from your food scraps to create fertilizer for your plants, inside or outside, both works. I am still working on the inside composting guide. It's going to be here soon. Stay tuned. When you search for zero waste swaps, you often get these swaps that are aesthetically incredibly pleasing and that are completely plastic free. Somewhere down the line we stopped talking about reusable versus single use, and we started talking about plastic versus plastic free, as though those two are identical. And there are plenty of reusable plastic items, and the thing is, if you use a plastic item many times, It's completely fine. It's completely sustainable. It's much more sustainable to use that plastic product than throwing it away. And one thing when I started my zero waste journey is that I really wanted one of those stainless steel ice trays instead of my plastic ice tray, because I like plastic versus plastic free, reusable versus single use. I had this expectation that those two were the exact same thing. And the thing is, when it comes to ice, the unsustainable way of doing it, or like the unideal zero waste way of doing it, I should say, is getting plastic bags with ice. But you can also get those plastic bags that you fill water in and then they create the ice cubes. Both come with single-use plastic. You can use, hear me out on this, you can use your reusable plastic ice cube tray completely fine. It's absolutely zero waste, it's absolutely sustainable. There's no need to buy a stainless steel ice tray. I do not see the point. I really wanted one at some point. It's almost a little bit like embarrassing. It seems like such a weird product because it's expensive, because stainless steel is expensive. It's an expensive way of ending up the exact same place. Like, it's just ice, for Christ's sake. So the zero waste swap is not stainless steel plastic free ice tray. It's just those reusable plastic ice trays. They're perfectly fine. And you can get them in any thrift store. I have never not walked into a thrift store not seeing a mountain of them. It's a perfect swap and much better than using plastic bags. But I really want to circle back to the plastic thing, because another amazing zero waste swap is just a solid container for leftovers and food and spices or whatever you want to store. And that container can be made out of absolutely any material you want. I would recommend, if you're eating hot food out of your container, if you're microwaving it, etc., that you do not use plastic, because some types of purposely made single-use plastic containers that can be reusable aren't necessarily made out of a material that's food safe. But for just storing cold leftovers, it's absolutely fine. I use an old hummus container for that sometimes. It's perfectly okay. I just think that having solid containers that are easy to use, easy to store for you, are going to make you more likely to not use cling film, to not use plastic bags, to not use aluminum foil. Those materials are awful. Those products are the worst. One example that always comes to mind for me is the stainless steel lunchbox, actually, because I do have a couple of the stainless steel lunchboxes. They're perfect. I love them. They're really practical. Is it more sustainable to buy a stainless steel lunchbox than using the lunchbox you've had since the 90s? Probably not. Definitely not. Definitely not. If you already have plastic containers, keep using them for as long as you can. That is the most sustainable to do. Not buying like whatever zero waste kits some blogger tells you to get. Anyway, one of the first things I remember switching out in my kitchen was my dish brush. So previously I had a dish brush made from plastic with plastic bristles and a plastic handle. And those two types of plastic cannot be recycled together. Whenever you have different types of plastic together, it's unlikely that that product is going to be recycled. Most recycling facilities today are designed to handle materials that are homogeneous all the way through. So whenever you have like these mixed material products, they become really difficult and complicated to recycle. So instead, I got a wooden dish brush. If we're looking at the environmental impact of a wooden dish brush in contrast to a plastic dish brush, I am pretty certain that if we're only looking at CO2 emissions from production, the plastic one is going to be less impactful. However, when we're looking at end of life, it might be the opposite way around. No one said sustainability was simple. Thoroughly complicated through and through. However, these wooden dish brushes are much more easy to recycle, because you can take the wood and you can compost it, and then you can take the steel detailing apart and recycle those as metal. This is something that might work for people that do not drink the tap water or cannot drink the tap water. Get a water filtration system so that you can use your tap water more effectively. In Denmark, it's not really necessary. I know some people still do it. I just drink the tap water as is. If that's an option for you, where you live, please do that. Companies that sell bottled water do not necessarily sell water as much as they sell plastic bottles. So that's overall not a vibe in and of itself. So if you can drink the tap water, please do so. And if you're sort of iffy about it, then install a water filter or use a water filter pitcher. pour your tap water into your pitcher, filtrate the water, drink it then. Perfect. Lastly, the most sustainable zero waste swap is the thing you don't have to buy from new. So even when it comes to appliances, utensils, cutlery, plates, everything, check out secondhand platforms and thrift shops before buying things from new. When it comes to more specific things like I am in the need of an air fryer, I am currently looking for an air fryer on Facebook Marketplace, and that's sort of the place I go to when I have something specific in mind. Then I can see if there's anyone in my local area selling that specific thing. If there isn't, I'll simply wait it out because I know for a fact it's going to pop up at some point. I think I advocate for secondhand shopping in basically every single video, so you're probably pretty tired of me at this point. But I don't think I could make a video about zero waste swaps without talking about buying things pre-loved. So there we go. And those were 10 effective zero waste swaps to make your kitchen more sustainable. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, that would make my day, and subscribe to my channel, that would also indeed make my day. If you have any other swaps, tips, etc. to make your kitchen more sustainable, or things you want to share with the group, comment down below and let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys next time. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste contents and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!